What's up, guys? We're back here in the Millhouse garage today, and I've been getting some questions in the comments about, how's the clutch doing, or whatever questions from videos that I've done in the past. And well, it's February in Ohio. The roads are all salty, so I haven't had a chance to drive the car. But I have been doing a ton of work, and I kind of wanted to pick up where I left off from the last video. So I was going to show you guys where I'm at and what I've got done. So in the last video, I showed you guys about a nitrous kit for this car. So right now, we're getting some stuff done on it. I got, you can see all the solenoids are in. I gotta route the new purge tube yet because the one it came with was snapped off, but I got the plates in there. You have to space out the power steering reservoir, so I made some little spacers and made a new hose and stuff. I got that all spaced out and bolted in there. I really like how this nitrous outlet kit goes on here. I mean, it's just super clean, super easy. All the hard lines are pre-bent. They give you that fuel rail adapter, so you just take you got to take this little Schrader valve out of the end of your fuel rail. So you pop that out, and then you thread that fitting on there, tighten that up, route the lines. I got the wires run over. I don't have those hooked up yet. I'm waiting on, I ordered some weatherproof relays on eBay. So you can see I got the nitrous line ran and all that's hooked up. The nitrous line, it's not final. I mean, it's where it's going to be, but I'm probably going to put a little bit of loom on it here and there and tie it so that it's not rubbing anything. You can see kind of where I went through the firewall back there. I got some wires and some the line and everything, and some loom coming through there. So what I'm going to do is my relay for the purge and my relay for the nitrous and fuel solenoids, I'm going to mount like right here behind the battery box, and then the positive terminal is right here. So I can't get this off here, but the positive terminal's right there. So I'm just going to loop my lines down for the positive side, hook them up right there. I'll run some grounds back in the car or whatever, and I'll get those hooked up, and I won't have to run a lot of wire. So I mean, that's kind of where it's at for the business end. I mean, everything's pretty much there. I mean, I really need those relays, but of course eBay is taking forever. So that's that. And then in the car, I have been doing a lot of wiring, and I got about 100 feet of loom, which is a little overkill, but I figure I'd use it in future projects. But one of the things I did too was I got my wideband installed in the cup holder there. I put a little mount in here, so that's nice and solid. All the wires are run through the dash. And then I put all the center console back together and everything. And I bought a custom plate, which I'll show you guys, which I know this looks like a mess right now, but I have to trim this wire down and everything. This isn't done. I just had it in here for testing and everything, but I'm going to end up shoving those wires back in there. But I needed a little extra because I'm getting a panel that's I got to cut my ashtray, put this back in there, and then I got a custom made panel coming, and these switches are going to mount in there, and I'll have a button for the purge and all that. So this stuff's just kind of tucked away right now because I'm still waiting on the panel to show up, but I got all that back in there. And what I ended up doing was I ran like this wire here. This is going to be the power wire to the bottle heater, but I don't have one yet, so I ran that just for future. I'm going to tuck that away probably under the floor mat, and then when I get a bottle heater, I'll already have the line, and that goes all the way back into here into the trunk. So when the time comes, I don't have to rip this panel back apart, because I drilled my hole up in here behind this. I don't know, hopefully you guys can see that, but I drilled my hole right there for my wires and stuff to go through, and the hose comes down, and I took this whole panel out here, took this panel out with the seat belt, pulled the carpet back, folded the seat forward, and I got the nitrous line and that power line ran through there. And then what I'm using to control everything, I've got a nitrous outlet Winmax box, and I mounted that in the glove box, and I got everything wired into a little terminal block, and all the wires come through right through the back of the glove box. So I actually have to get a new glove box because, as you can see, these junk GM interiors are plastic, and there's literally like one little piece back here that's holding this whole gloves box on right now. I mean, this thing's just cracked everywhere. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's that mount's broke. There's a crack right there. This mount back here, the only thing holding it was the glue of the vinyl, this vinyl cover. So when I went to push my grommet back in, the glove box just kind of like sunk and fell off on this side because the plastic was already broke. It was just a little bit of glue still holding on there. So I had to buy a new glove box because every time I touch this car I gotta buy something. But yeah, it's getting there. I mean, the interior's kind of back together, but this Winmax box is awesome. I don't know if you guys if you know anything about them, but it does everything. You can run, it's got a wire up here that ties into your TPS wire. So right in here somewhere, it's all loomed up, but I got it. There's a TPS signal wire. It's tied in there. So you don't have to run a wide open throttle switch. And then, so you tie that TPS wire in there. And then under the dash on this side, you can find on these cars, like way up in here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a tach signal wire under the dash. If you do a little Google search, you'll find a couple threads on the Corvette forum, but there's a tach wire, the signal wire up in there. You got to tie into that. And then what that Winmax box does is it does a little bit of everything. It's your wide open throttle switch. It also acts as a window switch, so you can set the RPM that you want the nitrous to come on and the RPM that you want the nitrous to shut off, because you don't want to hit the rev limiter with nitrous with it on, because that usually results in a big bang. That's not good. And also, you don't want nitrous to come on too early. If nitrous comes on too early, like say at 2,000 RPMs, you turn it on by accident, it's going to put a lot of load on the engine that's not good for it. Kind of, it's going to kind of lug, and if it lugs too hard, you can also cause a nitrous backfire, because it's not going to be able to take everything that you're giving it fast enough, to keep the flow moving. So that stuff's going to load up in the intake. You're going to have a nitrous backfire, or you can hurt the motor, just putting it under too much load too early. So it does that. It's got a window switch. You can also lock out the gears. I don't want to spray this car in first gear, especially on street tires. I don't think it'll hook real good. It's a stick shift car, and I don't think first gear will hook. So you can lock out up to 3 gears with the Winmax box. And what you do for that is you put in the RPM that you're going to shift at, and then you put in the RPM of how much each gear drops. So say if you're shifting at 6,000 RPM and the RPM drop is 800 RPM. So once you take off in first gear at the track, once you get past 6,000 RPM and then it drops back below 5,200 or whatever your drop is, then it's going to say, okay, that was 1 gear, that was a shift, now we're going to turn the nitrous on. And you can do that for first gear, second gear, and third gear. So I thought that was really cool. So it does a little bit of everything. And the other thing I'm going to use it for is it has an output to, eventually I'm going to have a timing retard box on this car. Probably, I don't know, I haven't decided if I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to get an LNC 2000 from Langenfelder. If I don't, there's a couple tricks in the HP tuners that I can use to retard the timing, which I've considered doing, but I don't really like the way that it works. I mean, it works okay. I'm sure people get it to work great, but to me, it's just kind of a band-aid timing retard thing, especially because I'm not 100% convinced that it only affects timing. I think it affects the fueling a little bit too. I could be wrong, but I just don't like it. It just seems like kind of a, I don't know, like a good enough, but not what I want. So I think I'm going to get an LNC 2000, and what that box does is it has an output to turn on the timing retard box, so you only retard the timing when you're spraying nitrous, which is pretty nice. Then, you know, it's just your regular all motor tune any other time of the week, but you flip that arm switch and you start spraying nitrous, it kicks that box on and it pulls timing so you don't melt stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's what I'm doing for the install and how I'm going to control it. And then one other thing that I kind of wanted to show you guys is where I'm putting the bottle. So I got a bunch of crap back here, so you'll just have to forgive me. But what we're going to have, we'll move all this stuff out of the way, but what we're going to end up having is the line for the nitrous is going to run under the carpet. So you'll never see that line or that hose. So it's sitting there, but that's going to end up going under the carpet, so you'll never know it's there. And then the bottle is going in this little cubby here, and I'm going to measure a piece of aluminum to sit down in the bottom of that, and I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to drill holes. I'll have it mounted in each corner, and then I'm going to mount the bottle to that aluminum. So this will be sitting in here. It'll be, you know, whatever, just a little bit of an angle from the brackets, but it should be just about perfect when it's all said and done. So my trunk will still be fully functional. Nobody will ever know it's there. I'll drill a hole. I have a blow-off tube that I'm gonna have to drill a hole through the bottom of the car. So if the pressure relief blows off, it's just gonna do a 180, dump right out the bottom of the car. Doesn't gas me or anybody that's riding with me out. So I'll have the blow-off tube in there. Eventually I'll have a bottle heater back here, but it's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, from the inside of the car, you know, when that compartment's closed in the center console, if that's closed and this panel's on here, I mean, from the inside of the car, you'll never know this car has nitrous. And under the hood, I mean, you'll see the solenoids and stuff, but I'll have everything all loomed up nice, and you really won't see any of that either. So I think it's pretty low key. I'm not trying to hide it. I don't care. Everybody knows I have it. Everybody knows I'm running it. It's not to hide it. I wanted a fully functional trunk. You know, I wanted it to look clean. I wanted it to look like if GM, you know, put nitrous on a car from the factory. That's how I wanted it to look. Like it came from the dealership that way. So that's where I'm at. For the guys that asked me about the clutch, I'm sorry. I just haven't had a chance to drive the car. I'm really interested to see how it feels too. I have started the car and I've run it, and I pulled the e-brake on the car and I started to just kind of engage the clutch a little bit and feel how it drags, feel how the pedal feels and stuff, feel how it, you know, if it was going to chatter or anything. I didn't, you know, sit there and smoke it obviously, but I just wanted to see how it was going to feel engaging, and it felt pretty good. So I think it's going to be fine. And one thing that I didn't mention in the clutch video was I did some research and I found out that the Winmax clutches are actually made by a company called Vallejo, and they make a bunch of clutches for a lot of OEM companies. I don't know, you know, exactly what cars or whatever, but I do know that basically Vallejo and Luck or L-U-K, you know, however you say it, I don't know, but those are two of the biggest OEM clutch manufacturers on the planet. So I think you're getting quite a bit of clutch for the money. It said in the ad that clutch supports like 645 foot-pounds of torque. So I think that'll be pretty good. And for $140, $150, whatever they're going for on eBay, that's quite a bit of clutch for what you're getting, considering, you know, a monster clutch is, you know, with the flywheel is like $1,000 or whatever they are, and I got mine with a lightweight flywheel, new throwout bearing, whatever. I think I paid like $300 for everything. So you're getting quite a bit for your money. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. But I don't know. This is where I'm at, and I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm excited to try it. Hopefully the weather will break real soon here, and we'll see what it does. But thanks for watching. Keep the comments coming. I love it. And I'll see you guys next time.